Hi guys.
What's up?
Hi guys.
This
It's like a
girl,
YouTube
I
channel.
reckon.
Hey
Hey,
everyone. You talking
mm,
first or me?
I was about to, but
Okay, you
I
go.
don't know.
You go, Han.
Hey, look, welcome to our show, man. Doing life with Sam and Kiri, and look, we're looking forward to this one. It's kind of more of a down to earth and a look into our lives and some of the up close and personal things. But this, just a quick recap on last week. We spoke about is your life in auto, or are you on autopilot? And we discussed certain things about is life just something that you let happen to you, or you being intentional with your life? So
Yeah.
we suggest you go have a look at that if you find yourself maybe stuck in a rut or you feel like you can't go forward in life, and if you feel like also at times you haven't had a reference point, then what you need to do is sometimes you have to be that reference point yourself for your children. And so that was an exciting topic, eh, hun?
It was
That one?
good. It was good. It was
It was good.
challenging as well, and we got a lot of good feedback from people who were encouraged by that. So that was good. And like Sam said, is just making sure that you're getting out of that mundane state of just doing what you've always done, and obviously leading your life, which is cool.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to today, and as you saw, the title of the live is up close and personal. And so, we thought we've done a few episodes now, we've discussed a few different topics with you guys, but we thought it'd be good for you to hear a little bit more about who is Sam, who is Kitty, what's our background, what's a bit of our upbringing, just so you guys can get a bit more insight into, I guess, our world,
Yeah.
and probably what's helped shape us to who we are today. So this
Yeah,
is only one episode, so it's not going to go in full detail, but still, I think it'll be good.
Well, I think, as my wife's saying, like a lot of people know us, but some might not know our journey or understand a bit of our background.
Yeah.
Probably majority watching do, but yeah, we just thought it would be a good opportunity to share a little bit of our
Yeah.
upbringing and you know how we met and our journey together as a young married couple, and still very much on the journey now. But yeah, just a bit of a,
Little bit of insight into that. So, who
yeah,
would like to go
backstory.
first?
You can go first.
I
Eh?
can go first. Eh? Cool. So, I guess for me, I was actually, some of you probably aren't even aware of this, I was actually born and raised here in Australia, in New South Wales, and I was raised in a little town called Nelson Bay, or actually, yeah, Nelson Bay, or actually Salamander Bay, which is about a half an hour out in Newcastle. And it was a beautiful town. It was very much similar to what you would picture like Home and Away. It was a little beach town, small community, predominantly an Australian population. So us being a Māori family, was very rare to see Māoris around. I think that any Māoris that we knew in our town, we were all like became family. So yeah, I was born and raised for 12 years before my parents moved back to New Zealand. And I guess for me, when I look back at those formative years of my life, looking back now as an adult, I realize how different my family was in this small, Australian town.
True.
And at school, for example, primary school, me and my brother were the only ones at primary school by the time I got to primary school, and we were literally the only Māoris in the school, or Indigenous, like if you want to call it, in the school. So that already, shows you that there's something different about you. And I think kids being kids, they don't have much of a filter when it comes to really pointing out and making an emphasis that you're different. Or, as you guys can see, I'm not a dark person. As a kid, summertime, can get a pretty dark tan, but I'm not really a dark person. But I was definitely referred to in many ways as a dark person. I think just knowing that I was, of an Indigenous culture. So I guess, those formative years, it does start to put question marks in your head, and, the difference of who you are, and you look at your school photos and you stand out, you're the brown girl in the school photo. And so, for me as a kid, like people who know me now, I'm quite a strong personality, very difficult to intimidate. In fact, intimidation, people who try to intimidate me, I see that as a challenge. Not afraid of confrontation in a sense of, obviously wanting a good outcome. But as a kid, I was very timid, like extremely timid. I was shy, quiet, timid, be pushed around, bullied around so easily.
Mm.
So, being in that kind of
Definitely not
environment
now,
too,
honey.
no,
Definitely not now.
I don't know, something just went, wasn't a snap, I guess to say. Like, no,
Something snapped in you, eh?
I don't know, I guess I just grew up
I've had enough
and
of this.
more of my purpose and core required me to be a bit more gritty.
A bit more gangster, eh?
So, yeah, no, that's definitely not me now.
Mm.
But yeah, I just think, like people who aren't aware of that, that's how I grew up. And I can remember in school, every time there was something referred to in terms of the Indigenous Australian culture, or like Dreamtime stories or anything to do with Aboriginal, I remember clearly every single time, like the whole entire classroom looking at me, and I'm like, okay, cool, why? Like I remember thinking, if I was an Indigenous Australian or a Aboriginal, I would be proud anyway, but you clearly know that I'm a Māori and this is not my culture. But I don't know, it was just really not subtle. Kids are not subtle. They're very forward with what they think, and they don't really care too much about how you feel about that. They just want you to know. And so I just remember all that kind of thing growing up. I guess for me, because I had such a solid family, like, a beautiful family, home was like my safe haven, secure, confident. I never felt a sense of like insecurity. I always would just be, to be honest, I'd always be a little bit confused. I'd be a little bit confused as to why people were treating me differently. So yeah, that's just, sorry, it took a bit of time.
No,
But
it's
there's
good.
just a little bit of an insight into my upbringing in my formative years.
Wow. Racism's still alive, people. That's all I can say. But in saying that, kids are innocent in it too. Some aren't. They've been raised in racist kind of homes. Others are just like, you're different, and they just look, and that's innocent too.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and you probably, as you said, you don't understand some of those things until later on, and you look back and go, oh, gee, I was quite different in that. I think for me, when I think of my upbringing, I think of, yes, two things: school and my family life. And I agree with my wife. I had a very solid family life, and two, I hated school. Just straight down the barrel. I did not like school from the get-go. I remember going to kindergarten, and I clearly remember my mum dropping me off, and I was crying, kicking and screaming, and I ran out trying to chase her down the driveway, because I will not go to this establishment and be caged in and do what I'm told here. So that was my sort of introduction, and then primary school was the same, and then from there it was all about how to not go to school. But in saying that, there was some excellent times in school and education, and obviously the reading and writing, and some of the things you do need to learn. But I think for me, yeah, the family life and the kingdom life that my mum and dad lived etched a big part of my sort of orientation in life, because we moved to a few different cities. My dad started churches, and there was a lot of I must have went to so many primary schools I can't even count them.
Poor Sammy.
No, honestly, there's a lot of primary schools I went to. So you kind of meet mates, and then you move on to another city, and then you meet mates, and then so it's kind of a lot of different changes. So I think that too, I hated going to new schools because you have to make new friends. So that was something I do remember.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think most of my schooling was in Rota Vegas and Rotorua there. So I went to Aorangi Primary School. If anyone else maybe watching knows, did you go to Aorangi too, Maddie? Gee, Aorangi, and then Sunset Intermediate. I think that's shut down now. That's how good that school was. Right on the back of 4 Block there. But you know what? Some of the most awesome bros were in that school, man. I had a mate named Charlie, and every day he'd, well, not every day, but most days he'd be buying us lunch. So that was awesome, man. And then, yeah, so school was all good, but obviously with school, where you're trying to figure out who you are, you're trying to keep up a certain level of reputation and be included in the crowds. And I was a shy young man too, so I just hung with the same small groups. And when I got introduced to basketball at the age of like 13, I think that was it. That became my life. That became my passion, and a lot of my my drive was based around that. And then, yeah, that's the early stages of it. And everything else in between, church and moving and mum and dad blazing hard and my
Cool.
sister's being naughty and me learning that don't do that. Cause
Sisters.
sisters,
Sisters.
trying to
Sister.
stir the sister.
Nah.
Nah.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
so you, like you shared a little bit, like obviously with your upbringing, I've just turned this into an interview. Nah, with your upbringing, honey.
Hey, talk your story, not mine.
Like obviously church, like seeing the church,
Yes, definitely.
like from scratch. You know, like obviously your parents
Yep.
pastoring and then building a
Yeah.
church and physically building a church.
It's not until I look back now, like my dad was young, so he would have been in his 20s. He was running churches in his 20s. In his early 30s, he was building a church building and a two-story building across. I don't even know what age he would have been. So when I look back now, because I'm in the game, he was a beast. Like he what he was doing at his age. It's only when I look back now and I do the math and I'm like, bro, he
Yeah.
was going hard. So he was definitely revolutionary in his time on the New Zealand church scene. He would have been like trailblazing pastor
Yeah, I mean.
of the time, and hence he's standing now, as maybe many aren't, but Bishop Brian Tamaki is standing now.
So good.
And New Zealand, the government, we don't want to talk about that, but you might not know, but there's some things that have been put in place there. So yeah, I got to witness probably a lot of pioneering, a lot of
Yeah.
challenges, and also just being a young kid, like a lot of church dramas that happen, like these ones. I remember one time my dad, we went away, he must have been ministering somewhere or preaching somewhere, and then we come back and now he has to meet with one of the elders because they were kind of preaching against him, So these sort of things were happening in the early sort of 90s or
Yeah.
late 80s, and it's pretty hard out stuff that was going down. So I saw all that, witnessed all that, saw the resilience of my parents through those times, and as a young kid, I've seen all sorts of stuff, spiritual stuff my dad would be a part of, and also just a tangible church building, from hiring a school hall to building an elaborate
Yeah,
temple, or not temple, place of worship, and where you can meet on a Sunday and all the everything else in between. So yeah, it was good.
I think it's good for people to hear that, because I think a lot of people who know Bishop Brian Tamaki and Hannah Tamaki now, they only see
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
or they only see, say, the last 5, 10, even 15, 20 years, but they didn't see all those formative years.
Yep.
So it's good to hear,
And
the
good decisions,
inside.
good decisions they
Yeah.
made too. Like people hit the money thing, like this and that, but they made good money moves and brought homes
Yeah.
and made good investments with property and started from very humble and
Yeah.
Te Awa Motu with small houses that we had, and then God opened up a door and this beautiful businessman farmer came in and blessed and blessed the church and funded largely the ministry that my dad had in that town. So that was a beautiful thing as well. So God's been faithful through that journey, and if they just saw how it all panned out,
Exactly.
they'd have a bit more, I suppose, compassion. But people are dumb, man. People are so dumb. They just believe whatever they read,
Yeah.
or they actually love to not like things or people. And they
Love the drama, eh?
They love the drama.
Love the scandal.
It's crazy because all the ones that are haters have never been up close and personal.
Yeah, true that.
Probably not even been to the church, or if they have, they've been at a distance, but never been in amongst it. As the rain starts to fall on our interview,
Yeah.
we might actually have to wrap this up, hey, Maddie? Soon?
Nah, who cares? We'll just carry on.
What about the mic? Is it all right? But no, let's carry on.
Anyway.
We'll carry on, Maddie. It's all right.
No, that's good. And I think, just to give you guys a little bit of a background in terms of when my family... So I wasn't actually born into the church. My parents were saved when I was 5 years old. So I don't know much more. I don't know many people who would know much before they were 5 or have a lot of memories pre-5-year-old. But I do clearly remember the day that we were introduced to a pastor. My parents were saved in a house. We weren't even at a church. We were at a friend of ours' house who had invited the pastor over. My parents had given their heart to the Lord. I remember being baptized as a 5-year-old with my whole family. I remember all that. But so for me, pretty much my whole life, all I've known is the church, is
Yeah.
this new life. Well, I never knew the old life. I was too young. But all I remember is my parents being staunch. Like the decision, my dad's the type of person that the decisions he makes are like forever decisions. He doesn't just willy-nilly make decisions and change them up. So, is it all right? It's raining. It's raining. So yeah, my life growing up was in the church. I saw my parents be consistent, diligent, love God, serve God. There was never any like in and out of the church. You know, they were always faithful with that, and I think that's been a huge part of my my faithfulness and my trust in God as well, is observing that my whole life. And so that's all I know.
Okay, that's so.
Are you going to interview me?
No, sorry. Yeah, so we talked about our schooling, upbringing with our parents and family. What about our first kind of God experience, or giving our lives to God personally?
Are we all right, Maddie? Yep,
Yeah,
we'll carry on.
All right. Do you want to put like a cloth on there, just to
Sorry guys, we're like in mid our doing life with Sam and Kitty midweek chicken,
Oh wow.
and the rain is coming
That's
down.
getting heavy. I think for me, I was at a youth event. I thought I was cool, man. And then the youth pastor at the time, he just started talking about Christ. And mate, I just got hit. Boom. I was down the front. I had my mates around me, but I just left the pack, went down, and I was down there, saved. I'm really condensing this. What about you?
I'm having a laugh. I can't really even talk right now because I'm like literally getting wet from the
I'm
rain.
getting satched, bro. But let's just share quickly that, and we're gapping it, man. We're gapping it up.
I feel like it's too distracting. Okay, you know what? We might have to like wrap this up. Wrap this. How do I do a? Am I doing it right?
Hey, we don't have time to practice, Bill. We're in the rain, man.
We're in the rain, guys. So we're gonna have to do part 2. We're gonna have to do part
Next
2
week.
of Up Close and Personal with Sam and Kitty
Or
right
we'll
now.
do a little live somewhere during the
we
week.
might do a little live for you guys coming up because we are like fully in the rain getting drenched right
We'll
now.
do a live tomorrow or something, eh?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
shall we get an umbrella? How's everything sounding,
You
Daddy?
reckon though? What do you reckon, guys? Give us a comment. Is this distracting you? If you're still happy,
We're distracting them because they're looking at all the rain fall on us. Can still hear well. Okay.
okay.
Let's just get an umbrella. The show goes on.
Are you
We've
sure?
got a story to tell.
Dun, dun,
Thanks, Maddie.
dun, 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 dun.
We got a story to tell. Oh my lord. All right, let's carry on.
All right, we're just
Show
getting
goes
a few
on.
things ready here.
Hey, there we go.
Okay.
Look
Oh,
at you, honey.
That's better. I'm sad.
Look at me.
Okay.
How's that? All good? We're good to go? Okay, let's carry on.
So I got saved at the youth thing. Boom, boom, boom. I was
Okay.
about 15, 14 when I raised in the church, but officially gave my life to Christ was then. And it wasn't always just like now I'm a beautiful angel. I was still a bit of a tutu and a muck around man, but something happened in me that really set me on that journey.
Hold that, honey.
About you, baby girl?
Yeah.
I got
Go
it.
up, so that's not in. No, up.
They can't see that.
All right. You guys can hear all right? Can you hear me all right? We're going to carry on.
Carry on, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so I guess for me, my obviously brought up in the church since the age of 5. Are we all right? I feel like I need a check.
Nah, we'll do this tomorrow. We'll finish it up, hun. Finish it up.
What do you reckon, Maddie?
Wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, guys. Okay, yeah, I think we'll do part 2. So, there you go. You've got a little bit of an insight
That's
into
us.
us. But we'll do part 2. We'll wrap this up. The rain's coming on down, and we're going to do a live. We'll do a live with you guys and finish this off.
Hun, don't do a long outro. Just
But hey, thanks for jumping on. Sorry that we got cut short by this beautiful weather in the Gold Coast. So rare. But we will catch you guys soon, and we'll jump on and do a live for you. So bless ya. See
Later.
ya.